Hello. So, I just did the video analysis, and I'll have that linked with where I put this link. But these are going to be my question segments, and I'm going to get into it. So, how was the film influenced by German Expressionism? I have a few quotes here from the book, just because he kind of says it, says it all. But what I noticed on my first viewing was the bricks and the settings and overwhelming darkness of some scenes. There's lots of interesting iconography you can see. A part of Expressionism and German Expressionism is showing what you can to manifest a true feeling or emotion. You're structuring like your sets in a way that get a result, like get a reaction from the audience, like an emotional reaction. So Werland, he says, within the Hollywood industry, Germanic lightings, set design, and camera work were used to evoke bizarre, otherworldly settings, as well as to connote an artistically ambitious production. Frankenstein features expressionist stylization at all levels of visual design. The hilltop cemetery in the opening scene with its slanting grave markers, gnarled trees, and mausoleum was constructed on a soundstage, allowing complete technical manipulation of the environment in the German manner. So there's almost like this authorship, very specifically constructed settings to convey visual messages. He also goes on to say, expressionistic sets highlight Frankenstein's three most recognizable scenes. In the cemetery, the Gothic tower, where the monster is born, and the old windmill, where it is trapped and killed by a torch-waving mob at the climax. In each setting, Whale embellishes the off-kilter sets with canted framings, a variety of unusually high or low angles, a mobile camera, and a heavily shadowed lighting plan. That's Werland Kindle location 2188 and 2 through 2194. I think he covers a lot succinctly. I mentioned in my analysis the off-kilter sets and the different angles that we see. The scene I did my in-depth analysis of is the monster's reveal. I think it just has some really good shots of the setting and with the monster, the wretch, in front of it. So I'll have that linked. Okay, and I'm also going to talk about why is the film considered a landmark film in the horror genre. So, to begin, this film was a landmark because of its mainstream success. Dracula, that came out prior, kind of was the first big leap in horror in Hollywood, and Frankenstein being a second horror genre film being popular in the box office really cemented horror as a serious genre in film. Serious meaning something that can make money and people actually want to go see it. I think that is horror is the perfect genre for this period in time. Following the Great Depression, things are rough, lots of frustrations, lots of anxieties, and there's no better way to tackle those than to use the horror genre. It's a really great way to be subversive and to talk about all the problems and monsters of the day. The other reason why this film is a landmark film is because of the scene where the monster and Maria are playing with the flowers, tossing him in the water, and when he runs out of flowers, he looks at her and goes, she might float. She probably will float. All these flowers float. They're little boats. Throws her in the water, and she drowns. I kind of thought this was kind of shocking to some extent, like seeing her father carry her limp corpse through the town afterwards was pretty visceral. But anyways, that scene is highly controversial. Censors did not like seeing the murder of a child on screen. The documentary kind of goes over this. they called it one of the first truly controversial scenes in cinema, because it shows a child being killed. There were some versions where they cut that out or edited it around a little bit, or did the audio but no visual of her being tossed in the water. But I think I'm kind of like, I understand censorship, but I think in this context, it's better to have the contrast of the little flowers being thrown in and then seeing the girl be thrown in. It just really shows his infantile state, and it's disturbing. Sorry, my cat made a goblin noise. It's disturbing to see the perversion of an innocent mind. But, you know, if someone taught him and loved him, he probably wouldn't have murdered that girl. He probably wouldn't do it. He's a baby. He doesn't know. I'm a wretch apologist. Okay. But yeah, so seeing a child be killed was like very shocking to audiences, and because of that, it kind of became an infamous scene in cinema, and one of the other ways that Frankenstein as a film was able to shock and horrify its audience. And I think that sums it up. Really closing, I mean, while I have you, I'm going to talk about the expressionist sets one more time, just because I really want to highlight that they're not throughout the entire film constantly, like Dr. Caligari's cabinet, that is pretty stylized the entire way through. This one, it's like only certain scenes and certain locations, which I actually really think is a cool technique to create, you know, strategic disbalance and unbalance. And visually, the film is very dark. Like, I had to watch it with my lights off just so I could really get the full experience. And I think, like, the scene I was also going to try to do an analysis of before I decided on the one I chose was at the end. Like, I think it's at 1 hour and 2 minutes. It's the mob rushing through after the monster, and it's basically just darkness with torches, so you follow the light of the torches. It kind of just really makes you feel, I don't know, it makes you feel hopeless, and like there's nowhere to turn. You can't see to go anywhere, and there's nowhere you can trust. And seeing all the flames, like, he was born into a world just to be chased and terrorized, basically. Especially, like, seeing the flame imagery coming through as the one thing that really triggers and scares him. Probably also because when he was born, he was raised up into lightning, so I'm sure that was a very traumatic experience. We just don't remember our birth, so that trauma has kind of been navigated in a different way that he, the wretch, does not get. But anyways, I think that covers it, and I hope you're having a great day.